Hi, I'm Alan R. Welcome to MotorMatters, the channel you know you're going to see the latest, the greatest, the newest, the best, and everything else in motoring in South Africa. So subscribe right now. Join the crowd. Join the family. What we've got today is something pretty special. And I say it's special in the sense that introducing the 2025 South African Car of the Year. You heard me right. Recently crowned by the SA Guild of Motoring Journalists and Old Mutual Insure as this year's Car of the Year. It's a big accolade, I can tell you that much. The new X3, of course, is proudly built at the Roslyn plant in South Africa as well and exported worldwide. Now, there's three models in the range, starting with a 320 diesel, X3 2-litre diesel, which of course is the 2-litre diesel engine. Then there's this one in the middle, which is the hybrid version, the 30E. So it's got the 2-litre petrol engine with battery power combining. And then you get the M50, which is a 3-litre called the 50. I know it gets a bit confusing, but one of the cues you got that this is a hybrid and or not just petrol powered is the fact that the kidney grills are blanked out. You can see over here, that's a solid piece of plastic over there covering it, which just is a clue to that. But other than that, standard X3, you saw the launch video we did. You can see nice big spoiler down at the bottom, lots of course, air scoops over there to get lots of air to the engine, things like that. LED headlights, standard, you expect features like that. Very, very nice looking 20-inch BMW alloy wheels, and note the blue calipers behind over there as well. Now, one of the secrets that tells you this is, of course, a hybrid is, there you go. Now, just keep in mind, this is the plug-in hybrid version. You get different types of hybrids, as I'm sure you're aware. This is plug-in hybrid. According to BMW, the ideal situation with this car is drive it into your garage, plug it in overnight, and you've always got electric power to give you the incredible economy that you can achieve when you use this car, particularly for commuting purposes. Little things like that that make a big difference. Let's just pop open the back door to show you quickly while I'm about it. And let's have a look. I'll jump in. You can see the seat is actually set slightly further back than the driver's seat, which is set for myself. You've got aircon controls, you've got USBs, you've got everything in the back seat over here. Really nicely set up, nice and comfortable. Plenty of headroom, even with this massive panoramic roof that note stretches all the way basically to the rear headrests. Not a lot of them end a lot further back, a lot further forward, I should say. So you've got all these features. A question I ask is the cream colored upholstery. It looks good. It makes the car look a lot brighter because it's pretty dark inside otherwise. But if you've got kids, you're going to have quite a job keeping it clean. But other than that, plenty of space over here. And this car does have a nice Harman Kardon sound system with speakers all over the place, everywhere, as you can see, even in the back doors, etc. So it does have that kind of feature as well, and that kind of sound system, which is really nice to have as well. Let's come around to the rear over here. Tail lights that run into the tailgate over here, all LED as you expect. I can tell you now that this new generation X3, one of the big changes is to the rear end. We parked next to a previous generation X3 during the test period, and you could really see the difference. And of course, you've got the diffuser down at the bottom over there. I've told you it's the 30E model, and I've explained to you what that entails. So let's pop open the tailgate. No hands needed. Under the boot board over here, of course, no spare wheel because you've got batteries and other things. And in fact, you can't see very much down there either, can you? It's all hidden away from you. But one feature I'm going to tell you before I even do the Allen test is, look here. Note that the boot floor is flush with the lip over here. So there's no lip you have to load over. And that's a nice feature in many, many cases. Now I'm going to be lazy and not take the parcel shelf out. So let's just do the Allen test kind of like that for a change. Even took my hat off for it, do you notice? I can tell you now, It's fairly steep over there, so I'm going to give this about a 1.75 Allen boot. Yeah, about a 1 3/4 Allen. That's the official rating. Keep it in mind. Now, the 30E model, I said to you, is a 2-litre petrol engine plus electric, giving you a total of 220 kilowatts and 400 Newton meters of torque, driving all 4 wheels. So it really is effective, it really is nice, and it gives you lots of oomph when you want it. But you've got the combinations of different types of power, different ways you drive it, etc. Let's check it on the road. Let's have a look inside. In case you're wondering at the exhaust note, I've deliberately put it into sport mode just so I can enjoy the driving a little bit more. And in typical BMW fashion, you can hear the exhaust, it alters the gearing, and it tightens up the steering slightly. So on the Hearties Road, where you know we're going to be when I do these segments, you can just kind of expect the fact that I'm going to be enjoying the drive on the car and not just cruising. It's just not, I'm sorry, not when you're in a car of this sort. Even if it is the family SUV version, it's still way too sporty. But the X3 has got all the features you can possibly want. That massive screen across here, single glass as they call it, with I think it's about a 12-inch infotainment screen, similar size instrumentation in front of me, all your buttons on the steering wheel. Some are haptic, some are push button. There's almost a combination of the two. You've got all those things that you can possibly want, and just adding features like the fact that I am now in sport mode, so I'm ignoring the electric factor to a large extent, but it's there. It does make a difference on the car as well, and you've of course got to have the crawler in front of you. But that's not the point here, is it? Because you can also relax and tootle along in comfort and style along the way as well. I really am impressed, and I mentioned this at the launch. There's this almost a mesh feel to the cloth on the dash, for example. It's a soft touch. It's got all these kinds of features that really do make a difference as far as I'm concerned. So you've got all the luxury, you've got all the comfort, you've got all the spec, and you've got all the sportiness. Because 220 kilowatts and 400 Newton meters is nothing to be sneezed at. That's for sure. We'll check economy later in the test. It's too early to comment on it right now. But again, it's not one of those cars that I'm going to stress that much about it. And I can improve the economy by running it in electric mode a lot more when I'm in the urban areas, as opposed to, of course, out in the country like we're doing right now. Jumping in behind the wheel, it is standard BMW fare. Same as every other BMW you're going to find, so I'm not going to spend too much time telling you about it. A very important number over there is that shows you your electric range. You can see I've got it very low down. So I'm going to tell you, I didn't actually monitor fuel consumption on this test because I used it in sport mode, petrol only, for quite a bit of the test, and I think that's not fair to the car. I'm going to go by quoted figures. You can get it down to 2 liters per 100 if you're using electric and commuting in urban circumstances a lot of the time, but it's going to vary depending on you. You've got a very substantial big head-up display over there, which again, I'm sorry I can't show you in the light over here, but you know what it's about. And of course, you've got all your different controls on the steering wheel as you expect, and you've also got paddles behind the wheel. So you've got all those sort of features. You've also got interesting controls over here on the door panels, and you can see your settings for your driver's seat, for example. And you've got this unusual sort of effect over here on the door cappings and across the dashboard as well. But it looks neat, it looks good, and it feels good to the touch. Looking at the screen, and of course note you've got the single panel, as they call it, across the instrumentation onto the infotainment screen, about 12 odd inches each. They really are good, they really are crisp, and a lovely display. I've got it on Android Auto, as you can see at the moment, which works wireless and with cable, but it's on there at the moment. Of course, you press there now and you can get all your different functions, features, and everything else that you want. Just look at this over here. Again, I'm not going to spend all day showing you. It would just take way too long to show you, but you know you can do anything and everything on this car. But staying on the screen, of course, an important feature is your camera systems. Look at that over there. Your reverse camera, your overhead camera, You've got panoramic view, for example. You've got all these different ones. Parking view, that's the one. There is a reversing assistant system. You know me, I just don't use them. I know it's bad, but I don't. You come down, you've got over here, you can just see some controls for your aircon system. The rest of them are on the screen above. Not my favorite, you know that, but let's not complain too much. I would prefer some of the controls as in switches and buttons, but that's what you get. You've got dual storage for your cell phones over here. The one on the one side is a inductive charging pad, and you've got two USB type C's over there, which is why I've got this much longer cable over here, because that's my C cable. Come to the center over here now, and you can see you've still got BMW's slightly outdated, I'm going to say, scroller for the infotainment, and you use it to navigate the whole infotainment screen. If you want to do, I think it's a little bit outdated. It's time they maybe did something there. Very nice feature here is your volume knob, so your passenger can operate it. And this one over here, when I press it, let's look at the screen, because that's important, is I press that, and you've got personal, sport, or efficient, as they call it. Now, if you want to run it in petrol only, you hit the sport button. That is what I was told to do, and that's what I did for parts of this test, just to try it out. Coming back over here, down to the console, you've got, of course, your engine stop-start and your gear shift, can I call it that? Works, electronic parking brake. These are all things you know and expect. I don't have to spend too much time telling you. What I do like about this car, also I showed you the dash and the function, is look at the way it rolls down in front of the front passenger. And I can't show it to you now, but you've got lighting inside, for example, around these panels and on the dash. It's blue in efficient mode and it goes red in sport mode. So you know exactly which mode you're in. You don't have to think too much about it. Maybe that's a good thing as well. I mentioned the massive panoramic roof. Now, the point of this car, and the thing of all plug-ins, as far as I'm concerned, whether it's fully electric or plug-in hybrid, is if you have a wall box at home, or if you have convenience for whether it is charging in any way whatsoever, and if your commute is within the parameters of the vehicle, and this one on a full charge is over 100 kilometers, which is certainly good on electric only, then just think of the advantages you have. If you could use this car for your daily commute to the office and back, or dropping the kids at school each day or whatever, and you're running on electric only, you know how much you're going to save. That is for sure. The other side of it is you also get the benefit of the acceleration, the electric style acceleration, and the performance that the electric adds to give you that 220 kilowatts, which is pretty big, am I right? Now, the point of it is you could get the 20D, 20 diesel version, which is 145 kilowatts as opposed to the 220. So just keep that in mind. It is a big difference, and not the instantaneous electric acceleration, for about 100,000 Rand less than this one. So 100,000 Rand, that's a lot of difference, isn't it? You're talking, and I'm, for good reason, giving you base prices, because you know what it's like with BMW and most of its direct competitors, that it depends on which boxes you tick. This car starts at just over 1.3 million. So 100,000 is what, about 8%? It's not a massive difference when you're spending 1.2 or 1.3 million Rand on a car. But the question becomes, would it work for you? Do you have convenience with the charging? At least it's not fully electric, where when it runs out of charge, it runs out of go. You can just carry on with the petrol. So you can save massively on your fuel, but then again, 100,000 Rand's worth of fuel is going to take a lot of driving, isn't it? You've got to think of it that way as well. So there are pros and cons. That's what I'm trying to tell you. You can look at Lexus, for example, in this category, who have hybrids as well, but they're not plug-in. Then you get Mercedes, have got hybrids, they've got electrics, they've got all kinds of options as well. So they are similar. One of the big things is, and I know it matters to some people, the fact that this car is built in South Africa. So keep that one in mind as well. You want to support local? Oh, that's a choice you make. I'm not saying you should or shouldn't. But something else is 25 jury members of the SA Guild of Mobility Journalists did vote this the car of the year 2025. That also says a lot, doesn't it? Check it out for yourself. That's all I can suggest. For MotorMatters, I'm Alan R, and I'll see you next time.